Oh dear.
Go.
Okay. We'll just have to do it without the video. I don't know where the video is.
Is it a video?
No, there's supposed to be a video. No, it's okay.
It's still running.
It's still running. Okay. I'll try to figure this out. If it doesn't work, it's okay. But by the time I like today, I'm going to be playing with it, and hopefully this works so that anytime any of y'all are absent or doctor's appointments or something, I will load the YouTube video onto onto the Google Classroom, and that's where you'll find it if you're absent. Okay? All right. Or if you like, because we're going to be getting. We're going to be getting into some really difficult stuff later on. This stuff isn't quite as bad, but later on we're going to be getting into some, scary stuff. So if you go home or if there's a section that you're really not getting very well, you can ask me, Ms. Rogers, can you record yourself so that when you get home or over the weekend, you can rewatch the lesson. How about that? Okay, here we go. So 1.3, we're going to be adding rational numbers. Okay, so Valeria, do I need to set a timer for you, or do you have it?
I think I have it.
Is it on your watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so then... So then, Keith, you go home. You go to Senior Smith at 2. Okay. I'm going to set it for like 2 minutes beforehand so that if you're done, you can go a little bit early. Okay, so recap from last year. Adding rational numbers. If the numbers have the same sign, who remembers what you do? Do you add or subtract? If it's like 2 positives or 2 negatives, you add and the sign stays the same. So if it's the same sign, you add and the sign stays the same.
Oh, we're just doing adding.
Well, you know what? If you remember, it doesn't matter. At this point, you're just combining numbers. If it doesn't matter, because we're really, I guess you can say you're adding. It's not really. You're combining numbers is what you're doing. If you have different signs, if like you have a positive and a negative and positive, whatever, what do? Raise your hand.
Subtract.
Thank you for raising your hand, chap. What?
Subtract.
You subtract and what? Hold on. Chap, go ahead.
Keep the sign of the number.
That's right. And take or keep, that means take right there. Take the sign of the larger number. Like digit, integer, whatever you want to call it. So if the signs are different, if you have a plus and a minus, and again, when I say sign, I'm referring to plus or minus. Plus or minus. If the signs are the same, you add and you keep the sign. If the signs are different, you subtract and take the sign of the larger. And it's funny because since last year was my first year, a long time, to teach 6th grade, I skipped a couple of their geometry chapters in the 6th grade book and jumped to the very end of the book where we talked about this. because it's so hard coming from 6th grade to 7th grade pre-algebra and then to 8th grade algebra 1. So in 6th grade, while we were distance learning, I made sure the 6th graders all did this stuff. I mean, they did a lot of this. I told them, I said, geometry I can catch you up on. Yes? Oh. All right, thank you. I'm losing my mind already. Okay, so 6th grade, today they have been doing this in 7th grade, and they're like, they remember it all. So y'all know from last year, you have to know all this stuff to be able to make it through this chapter. All right, so examples. We're going to jump right into examples, not from your book. Example A. -1 plus -3. So, we have a -1 and we have a -3. Are the signs the same or different? Same. So, Miranda, what do? If the signs are same, and keep the same sign. So, what's 1 plus 3? That's right. So, you add, so you get 4, and they're both negative, so it's -4. Any questions about that? Cool. I'm going to write it a different way. Same integers, a little bit different. Franz.
The signs are the same, so you must add.
And
-4.
the signs are the same, guys. It looks different. Today, I taught the 7th grade this. Oh my gosh, if y'all remember last year, that is confusing when you see it like that, because to them, that's -1 minus a +3, which it is, but they still don't see it as a -1 and a -3. So both are negative, so the signs are the same. You add and you keep the sign. They are the same problem. All right, C. 8 plus -3. Sam, are the signs the same or different?
The signs are different.
So what do?
You subtract.
And take the sign of the.
Larger number.
Very good. So 8 minus 3 is what, Sam? And 8 is your largest number. It's positive, so this is +5. Good job. So I told y'all today's stuff isn't bad. D. So far, are there any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, so D. 4 minus 10. Valeria.
Yes, ma'am.
4, is it positive or negative?
Positive.
And 10.
Negative.
So the signs are different, so what do?
You subtract.
And take the sign of the,
Larger number.
and 10 is my largest, and you said it's negative, so what's 10 minus 4?
Oh, 6.
And since 10 is negative, it's larger, it's -6.
Yeah.
Good job. Any questions so far?
No.
E. Now remember I told y'all, now that you're in Algebra 1, y'all have to do some decimals and fractions.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I hear it every time. Y'all can get all this stuff, then I throw in some decimals and fractions, and it's like, oh my gosh. I get it. I grew up hating them too. All right, so, Morgan, are the signs the same or different?
Different.
That's a negative, that's positive, so you're gonna,
Subtract and take the sign of the larger.
which is the larger?
112.6.
Okay, so that's the largest. So you do know already that the answer is going to be negative. So then let's do our work. It's larger numbers, so I'm going to put it on top. You have to line up your decimals, or it's going to be wrong. And since we're subtracting, you just start subtracting. This is a 0 here, placeholder 0. Just remember, because I know it's hard sometimes with decimals to line them up, and then you get a wrong answer. My son had a tutor, bless her heart, came over and was helping him with his math while I was at work, and didn't line up decimals. She felt so bad, but it's okay. So if you calculate it correctly, it would be, negative 73.33. Oops. Any questions so far? All right. F. Oh yeah, F. So that's a little crash course on decimals. Look at this ugly thing. Now, first of all, are they same or different?
Different.
So then, Matthew, what are we going to do? Add or subtract?
Subtract.
That's right, we're going to subtract. What is the first thing we have to do when we're adding and subtracting fractions? Get a what?
Common denominator.
Yep, common denominator. So, Matthew, you go by Matthew or Matt?
Whatever.
Whatever. I can call you whatever? Okay, whatever. So, what is a common denominator for these two numbers? Like, what number can they both go into?
4.
Get bigger, because 8 can't go into
Not
4.
32.
That's right. You can do 32. I know what you're going with the
Yeah.
4. Okay, so look this is what I tell my students. Bring down those fractions. Nice and neat. So the new denominator is going to be 32. So 8 goes into 32 4 times. So we do 4 times 5, and that's 20. Now we can subtract. 20 minus 3 is what, guys? Anyone? 17 over 32. And this is the larger number, right? Because they're both 32s, but the top number, 20, is larger than 3. It's negative, so the answer is negative 17 over 32. Yes, you have to know how to do fractions and decimals. However, you can pass my class if you struggle with these. Okay? You can pass. Because it's not, you need to know them, but you will not fail Algebra 1 because you hate fractions and decimals, and because of that, you're never going to really learn it or anything else. I hated them too. I barely passed math in school. True story. And so my grades, summer school, the whole thing. And here I am, math major and teaching math. Hated it. Fractions, ugh. Percents, ugh. Okay. Now, I'm not going to have you write this down. I'm going to show you. You do not need to write this down, and it's the properties. Okay, mathematical property. This is identity. Can someone explain why I'm not making you write this down? How does Mrs. Rogers feel about these properties, Morgan?
Because we'll never see any of them except the
Distributive. Because it's a waste of time, because you have common sense. So, we're going to go over them. Mathematical property is its identity, an equation or statement that is true for any value of the variable. Blah, 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 blah. So let's look at them. Number 1, commutative property of addition. Basically, what it's saying is if A plus B equals something, then if you switch them, B plus A is going to be the same thing. Like 2 plus 4 is the same as saying 4 plus 2. That is common sense. You guys know that. If you're adding, all you do is switch the numbers, you're good to go. Associative property of addition. That's the grouping one. If you have A, B, and C together, and you have parentheses here, if you do A, B, and C here, and you're adding, and you just move the parentheses, that's what it's saying. You get the same answer. The only reason these work is because it's all adding. It's all the same. If we were to throw in a multiplication sign or a subtraction sign, then you're getting that order of operations, and that's totally different. Additive inverse, additive identity property is saying any number plus 0 is the same as 0 plus any number, and you get that number. Y'all know that 2 plus 0 is 2. Y'all know that if you switch it to 0 plus 2, it's still going to be 2. No reason to memorize that. Additive inverse property. That's basically saying 2 minus 2 is 0. Y'all know this, correct? Okay, so that's why we're moving on. All right, open up your books to page 16. Everyone must open up their books to page 16 so we can do examples. Remember, you must write this down. We're going to do a few examples and then I'm setting you free. No noise. Why does it say 60? What book is this? Wrong book. That's why I lost. There it is. Okay. So we are going to jump down to number 16 because I don't think you need the top part. I might have y'all do some for homework, but we're going to jump to the more difficult things. Point 23 plus negative 624.4. Question. Are they same sign or different sign? Different. This is positive, this is negative. So then what am I going to do? Sam, what do I do if they're different signs? And take the sign of the larger. Okay, very good. This is going to be my larger, correct? Right? So the answer is going to be negative. We know that. So right here, I'm going to do my subtraction. Remember to line up your decimals. You can put in a little 0 right here. We're going to borrow from the 4. We have 10 minus 3 is 7. 1, bring down your decimal. And then this just stays the same. So then you should have been, you should have been working this out as well. And this would be your answer. Did everyone get that?
Yep.
Okay. So if you didn't get that, check your work to see why you may have messed up. Any questions about that? All right. 18. Ooh, fractions. 4/7 plus negative 11 over 7. Now, luckily, the denominators are the same. This is a positive, this is a negative. So, Sophia, what are we doing? Adding or subtracting? All right, so 11 minus 4 is what, Sophia? So it's 7 over 7. Is it positive or negative? Why is it negative? Huh? Because the larger one is negative. Very good. So if it's 7 over 7, I personally would not mark this as wrong, but what would the actual answer be, New? -1. Because this is like saying -7 divided by +7 will give you a negative. So it'd be -1. Any questions? All right, 20. Ooh, this one's fun. -12 over 21 plus -10 over 3. Let's see. Matthew.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Valeria, quickly write down 18 and 20. If the signs are the same, this is a negative and this is negative, do we add or subtract? There you go. We're going to add because this is a negative and this is a negative, so we're going to add. What is the first thing I need to do, though, is get what?
Common denominator.
All right, so, Chap, what would be a common denominator for both of these fractions? Yep, we can just keep this one the same. Change this denominator 21. How many times does 3 go into
7.
21?
7.
10 times 7 is?
70.
And then we're adding. So let's see, Franz, what is 12 plus 70?
12 plus 70, 82. -82.
-82. And then the denominator just carries over. Now, for this class right here, this is considered an improper fraction. You do not have to change it right now. Do not worry about that. We're not going to deal with that. Right now our focus is on adding and subtracting with positives and negatives, okay?
The
So-
worst part is trying to simplify fractions when they're decimals.
Well, fractions and decimals are just ugly, so we don't need to worry about that. All right, 24. Does anyone have any questions about this? Valeria, you caught up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right, so here we go. 8 plus -2 plus -9 plus 3. Miranda, you want to do it? Okay.
Trying to remember from last year. Is that where you did that box circle thing?
No, that is when we are doing like terms.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I know what you're talking about. Okay, Miranda, why don't you be my victim? So we're going to work left to right. Positive, negative. So what do? Miranda, do I add or subtract?
You subtract,
So what do I get?
you get -6.
+6. And guys, don't be like my 7th graders. Rewrite your math sentence. You didn't do anything with this stuff, but rewrite it. Trust me. Now, we're going to combine the 6 and the -9. Miranda, what is 6 and -9?
-3.
Yep. And I'm going to bring down the +3. So, Miranda, what is -3 plus 3?
0.
There you go.
Well, I did that incorrectly, but I got the right answer.
Okay. But try to work left to right because that's going to help you when we start doing order of operations. Okay? Does everyone have this down? Okay. I have one more for y'all, and then I'm setting you free. Tell me when you're done. Okay. Last one. 26. 14 plus negative 9 plus 6 plus negative 28. Sophia, y'all should be working this out on your own to see if what we get is the same as what you get. So, Sophia, what is 14 and negative 9? Positive 5. And then I'm going to rewrite my math sentence that I didn't use. Sophia, what is 5 plus 6? 11. And I'm going to rewrite my math sentence that I didn't use. All right, Sophia, what is 11 and negative 28? Do what? Positive or negative? That's right. Be careful, boys and girls. It's negative because 28 is the largest digit, and it's negative, so then this is negative. Any questions? All right. You're doing page 16. You're doing
6
numbers. Numbers 5 through 23 odd. Actually, no. 27 odd. Yeah, I want you to do some absolute value. All right. That, I think, is 10 problems. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I have it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right up there in the front. That's 12 problems.
And no bonus.
No bonus. I think you guys can handle it.
Sorry.